Hi everyone, welcome back to English for You. I'm Pat.
I'm Chickling.
And today we're on day 2 of our Fun Facts article. So we're talking about symbols. There are many symbols from ancient times. They were used hundreds or thousands of years ago.
And one of these is the rod of Asclepius.
Asclepius,
yeah. A stick with a snake around it. It's a symbol for medicine.
Asclepius was the god of medicine, and the Greeks believed some snakes had healing properties. Doctors actually had snakes in their clinics that slithered around.
The symbol is used on ambulances and in hospitals, but it's also confused with another symbol, the caduceus.
Now, the caduceus was the rod of Hermes, the messenger god. It had wings as Hermes moved quickly, and in fact his sandals and I think his helmet all had wings on to show how fast he was. And this rod, the caduceus, also had 2 snakes, and it was back then a symbol of trade.
But the Americans, as usual, were a little slow and mixed things up.
Oh, bless those Americans.
Okay, what did they do?
Well, their publishers started using the wrong symbol on medical books. So now the US Army's medical department uses the wrong symbol as well. Never mind, America. You'll get better.
But what other ancient symbols are still used in modern life? We will find out in our article today.
Yeah, let's read through day 2.
Reading. Fun facts. White doves and olive branches, both independently and together, represent peace. The dove features as a symbol in several ancient stories related to the Great Flood myth. In the Mesopotamian poem The Epic of Gilgamesh, the hero releases birds, including a dove, from his boat after many days of rain. The Bible tells a similar story of God sending a flood to wipe out the wicked humans on earth. However, God commanded that a good man called Noah build a boat in order to survive the flood. After almost a year of rain, Noah sent out a dove, which later returned with an olive branch in its mouth. The Bible also tells of a dove appearing as a symbol of the Holy Spirit after Jesus' baptism. Ancient Greek brides and Olympic athletes once wore olive wreaths. Exchanging olive branches with enemies was a gesture of peace during the Roman Empire. Now, you'll see doves and olive branches on countries' flags, in political cartoons, and on anti-war posters. If you want to make peace with someone, you can extend an olive branch to them too.
All right, so we're going to look at kind of 2 different things here, but they both represent the same idea. Day 2 starts by saying white doves and olive branches, both independently and together, represent peace. So an olive tree or bush is a fairly small tree, I think, or bush that produces olive fruits. You will know the fruit. They're these black or green things. They've got a strong flavor. They have stones in the middle, and they're full of oil, so we can use them to make olive oil, that kind of stuff.
所以 olive 就是橄榄的意思。那文章意思就是呢，白鸽和橄榄枝在一起是一个 symbol.
Yeah, what the sentence is saying that a white dove can mean peace and an olive branch can mean peace. And they can do this when they appear together, so a dove holding one, or apart, so they don't appear with each other at all. And because they can do it apart, that's why we use the word independently. If 2 things happen independently, they have nothing to do with one another. They're not related or connected in the same way. They're not in the same place at the same time. So, for example, we could say the 2 students worked independently, but still came up with the same results. So they weren't working together, they weren't helping each other. They each did their own work, maybe in a science test or something, but they both ended up with the same results.
所以代表呢，这个橄榄啊跟白鸽它们单独的也是可以代表和平的意思嘛，所以才会出现 independently 这个单字，它就是单独的或独立的副词。那它的名词它的形容词很简单哦，把 ly 拿掉就是 independent， 就是独立的。比如说 Oliver has been financially independent since he graduated。那这个单字呢变成名词也很容易，就是直接后面去 t 加上 ce 变成 independence， 就是独立的意思。那它的反字就是 depend 动词当依赖，那么依赖的就是 dependent， 依赖当名词 dependence。 So let's start by talking about doves.
Doves, yes, the birds. So the article says the dove features as a symbol in several ancient stories related to the Great Flood myth. A myth is an old story that isn't true or only has a small piece of truth attached to it. And myths are often used to explain the world and the way things are, like how we were created, what happened, why our people came to this place.
所以它就是神话的意思。那在与大洪水神话有关的呢，是几个古代的故事中，鸽子它都是一个标志。And the story about Noah's Ark is one of these myths.
Right, and we will get to that. But there's an even older story. The article says, in the Mesopotamian poem, The Epic of Gilgamesh, the hero releases birds, including a dove, from his boat after many days of rain. Mesopotamia was an ancient kingdom or set of kingdoms in the Middle East, where countries like Iraq, Iran, and so on are now today. It was one of humanity's earliest big real civilizations, and the Epic of Gilgamesh is one of their big famous stories.
所以呢，就是美索不达米亚史诗里面的吉尔加美什史诗中呢，这个英雄呢，经过多日的降雨呢，就从船上放飞了一只鸟，那包括一只鸽子。那这边呢，补充一下，吉尔加美什史诗是已经发现最早的英雄史诗。
Okay, so that was an early story related to the Great Flood, which is like where the whole world is underwater. And later we get to the Bible story that many people know of. The article says, the Bible tells a similar story of God sending a flood to wipe out the wicked humans on earth. Of course, the Bible is the Christian holy book. It has two parts. The first, kind of based on older Jewish books, that's where the Noah story is, and the newer one, which is the story of Jesus. So in the older one, there is this story of God sending a flood that wipes out bad people. To wipe out means to kill completely, to just not stop until there is none of this animal or group left. Think of the dinosaurs. They have all been wiped out.
所以呢，圣经讲述了一个类似的故事，就是上帝呢，他发洪水来消灭地球上邪恶的人类。这边出现的片语 wipe out 就是彻底消灭的意思。But only the wicked humans were wiped out?
Yeah, God sends the flood to kind of get rid of all the bad people. But as we see in the article, however, God commanded that a good man called Noah build a boat in order to survive the flood. Of course, he called the boat the Ark, and that's the story of Noah's Ark, with two of every animal, that kind of thing. But God commanded him to do it. And to command means to order something, to tell someone to do a thing, and they can't really refuse. So people with authority command you. Teachers, officers, parents, police, that kind of thing. For example, we could say, the general commanded his soldiers to attack the enemy position.
所以 command 就是命令的意思，是个动词。所以 to command that someone should do something or 去干嘛呢？就是 to command someone to do something 都是可以，就是命令某人。那我们来看一下其他的用法。 好，我们来看一下 command that someone should do something 或者是省略 should 这个句型，它是主要表示呢要求、建议、命令或者是坚持的时候，那它后面接的 that 子句呢常使用助动词 should， 那再加上原形动词。不过在美式英文中呢，我们常常会把 should 省略。那其他类似的用法还有像是 ask、require、request、demand 这些都是表达要求的时候，那如果是建议 suggest、propose、recommend、advise、urge 这些都是指建议，又或者是命令，像我们刚刚讲的 command 或者是 order。比如说 My professor suggested that I should focus on my research on human behavior.
So, where does the dove appear in the Noah story? The article says, after almost a year of rain, Noah sent out a dove, which later returned with an olive branch in its mouth. So we have both a dove and an olive branch.
所以经过了近1年的降雨呢，诺亚他就发出了一只鸽子，然后这只鸽子后来归还呢，嘴巴里面还叼着一只橄榄树枝。
And that kind of meant, all right, it's peace, the flood's over, good times again. We also see that the Bible also tells of a dove appearing as a symbol of the Holy Spirit after Jesus' baptism. So a baptism is where someone is welcomed into the Christian religion in a special and often an official way, and it involves water, which is supposed to wash away a person's previous sins and make them a new person in their relationship with God. Jesus was baptized, that's the verb, to baptize, by a man called John the Baptist.
所以 baptism 就是受洗，所以圣经呢还讲述了一只鸽子在耶稣受洗的之后就出现了，然后它就成为圣灵的象征。
And there are other places that symbols of doves and olives have appeared. Yesterday we talked about the ancient Greeks, right? And we do so here as well. The article says, ancient Greek brides and Olympic athletes once wore olive wreaths. A wreath is a circular arrangement of flowers or leaves or just plants. They can be worn on the head or around the neck. At Christmas, in many Western countries, wreaths of holly leaves are used as decorations.
所以 wreath 就是画圈的意思。那古希腊的新娘啊，还有奥运运动员都曾经戴过橄榄的花环。
Now we jump forward in time from the ancient Greeks to the ancient Romans. The article says, exchanging olive branches with enemies was a gesture of peace during the Roman Empire. To exchange means to give something to someone and get something back in return. And it goes both ways, that's the idea. Like if I give Chickalin a gift at Christmas, and she gives me one back, we are exchanging gifts. Here's another example. The two friends often exchange books that they like so they can both enjoy reading them.
Exchange 就是交换，那老师刚刚有提到啊，譬如说在圣诞节交换礼物，我们就是 to exchange gifts。那跟谁对话呢？我们也可以把 gifts 改成 words， 就是字的意思。To exchange words 代表你跟人家对话。比如说 they exchanged words after the ceremony。那这个字呢，也可以当名词，就是有交换的意思。所以如果是个交换学生，英文就是 exchange student。And exchanging olive branches in this way is a gesture of peace.
That's right. A gesture can be something you do with your hands. So, yeah, like hi or peace or something like that.
Love.
Exactly. Yeah, that one, the Korean one.
Yeah.
Or with your head, nod. I agree. No, I don't agree. Huh? I don't understand. That's a gesture. It expresses an idea or an emotion. Here in the article, however, a gesture means a larger action that people do to show a meaning that's kind of even larger than that. So think of some actors. They do a play and they do really well. At the end of the play, people stand up and clap. Both standing up and clapping are gestures that show, oh, we think you did great. We want you to feel that we appreciate you. We want to thank you for your hard work. The Romans were doing something like that here. They were saying, here's this olive branch. This shows that we were enemies, but now we are friends. Here's another way we can use gesture in this way. Bringing a gift to people's houses is a gesture of friendship and thanks.
所以 gesture 呢，在我们的文章中是举止的意思。那意思就是跟敌人交换了橄榄树枝呢，是罗马帝国时期表达和平姿态的方式哦。那如果要做一个什么手势呢，我们就可以说 to make a friendly or to make a rude gesture， 那就代表你做一个友善的手势或是不礼貌的手势。那这个字也可以当动词，代表你做手势去表示什么。比如说 I gestured for her to take a seat。我请她坐下，做手势让她坐下。And are these symbols still used today?
Yes, they are. We see that now. You'll see doves and olive branches on countries' flags, in political cartoons, and on anti-war posters. When we use anti, A-N-T-I, this means against something. So anti-war means against war. You can also say anti for something. You can say both ways.
所以 anti 或 anti 都可以，就是代表这边是 anti-war， 就是反战的意思。And you can have anti-war posters.
That's right. Let's look at what a poster is. A poster, of course, is something that's put up on a wall. It could show a person you admire, like a sports player, a movie star, singer, and so on. It could be just a cool design, it could be something funny, it could be a big photo, and more. Think of movies. They will have posters in theaters that you would walk past and go, oh, I want to see that one next. Now, some posters are used to spread messages, and the one we mention here is an anti-war message saying, no more war, no fighting, stop the bombing, and all that kind of thing. And if you see an anti-war poster, it will often have a dove or an olive branch or both on it. Here's another example of how we can use poster in a sentence. Charlotte put posters of some of her favorite musicians on the walls of her bedroom.
Poster 就是海报的意思。那张贴海报呢，我们动词片语就用 put up， 所以 to put up posters。比如说 Why did you put up that poster when you know I don't like any of them on my wall？ 就是我不喜欢海报在墙上，你为什么还是挂上去了呢？那文章的意思就是说呢，现在啊，你会在国家的国旗啊，或者是政治漫画，或者是在反战的海报上面看到鸽子跟橄榄树枝。
Yeah, olive branches appear on posters, and they're kind of even used in speech as a sort of metaphor. Our article finishes by saying, if you want to make peace with someone, you can extend an olive branch to them too. To make peace with someone means to put an end to a disagreement you were having and become friendly again. So the idea here is you don't actually go and break off a branch of an olive tree and give it to someone. But if you say, if we had a fight and I say, Chicolin, I want to apologize for what happened, I'm extending an olive branch. That's what that phrase means.
就是跟什么和解的意思 to make peace with someone or something. And if you want to do this, you extend an olive branch.
Right. Here, the word extend means to hold something out towards someone. So when we want to shake someone's hand, we extend our hand to them. We put it out. And like I said, you're not really holding an actual olive branch, so this word can be used in a less literal way. We could also say things like extend an invitation, which means you're inviting someone somewhere. Here's another one. Frank extended a helping hand to Jenna when she moved house. He basically made an offer and said, hey, I know you're moving house. Can I help you? That would be extending a helping hand.
所以呢 extend 就是有延伸的意思，也可以当把什么东西扩大。比如说 My parents decided to extend our living room by 6 feet. 那这个单字呢变成名词也可以有延长的意思，像是 extension 就是有延长的意思，比如说 eyelash extensions 就是你睫毛的延长，或假睫毛、接睫毛都可以。那文章的意思就是说，如果你想跟某人和睦相处，你也可以跟他们伸出橄榄枝。那老师刚刚讲过了，他不是真的拿橄榄枝给人家哦，是代表释出善意的意思。
Well, that's the end of today's article, so let's go to today's For You Chat question.
For You Chat.
So today's question is, what other animals do we use as symbols? What do they represent? I'm going to use the snake. I mean, yesterday we talked snake as like healing, medicine, but in particularly Christian culture and others, the snake is the devil. It's evil, it's nasty, it's treacherous, it betrays people because that is supposed to be the form Satan takes when he convinces Eve to eat the apple. So yeah, snake is supposed to be evil.
It's always been negative for me.
It's kind of an evil symbol, in that kind of religion and culture. So that's one.
What about tiger?
Tiger, it depends where you are.
But in Chinese mythology, it's always a symbol for power and
bravery.
Energy. Yeah. And bravery, sometimes we use a lion for that.
Right. Yeah, lions are supposed to be brave. That's a symbol. A lot of countries have lions and royalty because it's the king. In the West, tigers are often seen as kind of like just violent and savage because they're sort of mean and angry, that kind of thing. Owls are used to represent wisdom. Athena, the Greek god of wisdom, has an owl as its kind of symbol. So that's another one.
I thought it represents someone that goes to bed very late.
No. We can say a night owl, yes. But yeah, owls are supposed to be animals that represent wisdom.
Whoa.
So there's another one. But that's all we've got time for today. Thanks for watching. For English For You, I'm Pat.
I'm Shikling.
We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Independently. The students sat at their own desks and worked independently on their projects. Command. The army's leader commanded the soldiers to attack their enemies. Exchange. Nadine and Lois exchanged business cards with each other when they first met. Gesture. Lisa sent everyone who came to her party a note as a gesture of thanks. Poster. Wendy put up a poster of the Beatles on her bedroom wall. It's her favorite band. Extend. The government extended aid to the people affected by the terrible typhoon.
智慧小补帖
Olive. Myth. Baptism. Wreath. Anti-war.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net